Welcome to Peace Leader Training. This is Step 3 workshop on entering the community. For you as a peace leader, there are times where you need to equip your leaders on how to enter into a community. Also, it's for people in the community that you want to equip on working in their own community. And next, when you're training other churches on how to do peace, there'll be times where you want to train their leaders on how they can enter the community. Remember, as you get started, the first thing you want to do is involve other churches. But once you get ready to enter into the community, the very first thing you do is you need to identify the needs. And we call this the road to transformation. The purpose of this exercise is to help participants identify problems in their community and choose priorities for action. Participants will also identify resources available locally that can be used to accomplish their priorities and resolve the problems they've chosen to address. Facilitators will emphasize that most needs are common and can be addressed with little need of outside resources. Our objectives for this time are that participants will learn how to help people in the community identify their problems. Also, for participants, we'll know how to help people prioritize their needs, and participants will be able to help the people realize that they locally have most of the resources necessary to complete their projects. So before each activity, you're going to ask each participant to bring an object that represents or reminds them of a problem or concern in their community. They could also be asked to bring 3 stones, for example, to be used in voting. So first, you create an open space in the middle of the group. Begin the activity by having participants place their objects on the road to transformation. That's alongside a tape or string or rope, and explain what they represent. Imagine a road in front of you that we will call the road to transformation. On that road are problems that must be overcome if the community is to make progress. The objects you've brought with you each represent one of those problems. One by one, each of you will put your object on the road and explain to the group what your object represents. Second, after each participant's placed an object on the road to transformation, participants will use the objects to vote on how to prioritize these problems in their community. Then you say you should each have 3 objects with you. We will now vote to see which of these problems you think are the most significant. You do not have to vote for your own object. Then third, after the vote is complete, have someone in the group count the objects and identify the 4 problems that had the highest votes. These 4 problems will be used in the next activity. Explain how once we have identified problems, we must also consider what resources we have that could address these needs. Then you say, just as these are 2 sides to a coin, there are 2 ways of looking at our problems. On the one side, we see the needs that our problems produce. On the other side, we see resources that can be used to solve the problems. In our Road to Transformation activity, we've identified some needs in our community. Now we will divide into groups and look at the other side of the coin. We will look for those resources that are available to us to solve our problems. Fourth, break into groups. Assign each group one of the top 4 problems identified in the activity above. Then fifth, have each group discuss the following questions. Instruct the group to focus on local resources that are available within the community that can be used to transform the community into what God intends it to be. The groups will report their findings orally or on a chart paper as appropriate for participants. Then in A, you say this: what people are available in your community that can help your group with your problem? People who could help could be local leaders or influential people, government workers in the areas of health, teaching, business, Christian organizations, secular development organizations, and community leaders. Then in B, you say what materials are available locally. Materials could be natural, like trees, rocks, sand, water, sun, or locally made, blocks and thatch, timber, charcoal, locally grown or raised, like crops and livestock, or purchased items from nearby markets or cities. Then in C, you say what facilities are available that will help the project. Possible facilities could be local churches, buildings, schools, shops, government offices, or clinics. And then in D, you say what training curriculums may be available to utilize. Then in 6, each group reports to the whole group on their ideas for addressing the need or problem that was assigned to them. The facilitator reinforces the essential ideas of this activity. Then you say there are always many problems in a community. Look for what is locally available as resources to meet these needs. Most of what is needed can be found inside the community without looking for outside assistance. Make the best of what you have. Time and talents are great resources often overlooked, and it is the church members in a community that will ultimately do and lead these efforts. Brainstorm with the whole group. What should you do when the community has a problem you can't deal with? Facilitators will try to elicit the following ideas. Acknowledge the need of the community. Then be willing to help as you can. Then think of small and tangible ways to get started. Guide the community into pieceworks that are realistic and achievable. And put the community in contact with people who can help. Now take some time to discuss how to identify the needs in a community.